And Dave from Grasscutter sent a tweet, and it said, "I guess it's finding the balance between your creative urges and the thirst of your fan base." And I thought, I suppose it, as you were saying sort of earlier about, you can't rush things. Some things have to take time, and by rushing them, you can sort of make them less than they're meant to be, can't you? And that's the same with recording albums and things like that. You can, if you're rushing it and not sort of mindful, you can lose some of the rawness or whatever it is, that you originally had, or
No, fair enough. And that's a really good point. I was gonna say, well, I could try to compare NMS to it, but I can't really, because you can't. I don't know how you'd really rush a radio show, so that comparison isn't gonna work. But I understand exactly what he means, and it's just the same thing for a lot of things. Even like preparing for the show. Yes, I mean that if I rush it, it's gonna turn out horribly. So
yeah.
But
I was going to say, I think you'd find this really interesting, and I didn't get a chance because I wanted to send you the link to this, but I was talking to Jason from The Unassisted recently,
yep.
and he sent me a message and just said, "You've got to watch this," and it's called Supermensch, The Legend of Shep Gordon. Okay, I don't know if you've heard of it. So it's a documentary that Mike Myers from Wayne's World and everything directed. And it's absolutely wow. It makes you want to go out and kind of... I mean, this guy basically fell on his feet. He had nothing. And he became sort of the family, the close friend to A-list actors, to musicians and everything else. But you've really got to see it. But he basically was the manager for Alice Cooper.
Oh, cool.
And the thing that really stuck out to me was the fact that... this is one thing, but I have to tell you this other thing about promotion. And, School's Out for Summer, for example, when they did the vinyl, he insisted with the record company that the vinyl was covered in panties. So what it is, it's like a school desk. You open it up,
right.
And inside, and they're going, "You find panties in there?" And he's going, "Yeah." And of course, that's shock promotion, isn't it? It's kind of... everyone's like, "Well, I've got to get a copy of that because it's so cool." And of course, the record company were going, "That's going to cost a fortune." He's going, "Do it." Yeah. You've got to. And then the other thing they did is nobody knew who he was over in, like, he was doing well in the States, but nobody knew in London, in UK, what was happening. So what they did is, do you remember the photo of him naked with a snake wrapped around him?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, they got this van to go round in the middle of rush hour, round Piccadilly Circus, with billboards with a massive picture of him naked with this snake wrapped him. And they told the driver, "You've got to break down." And Shep Gordon, and he said, "Well, I'm going to get arrested." He goes, "Yeah, don't worry about it. I'll sort you out later. Just do it." And then, of course, it hit the news. And what they learned was, if your parents hate the band, the kids will buy the music.
Yeah.
What happened was they booked Wembley and they'd sold like 2 or 3 tickets, 100 tickets, and they had to fill this stadium. They put that prank, they promoted that, they filled it within a day.
Oh my God.
So it was sold out. I mean, think about that. That's like, whoa. So what I need, actually, Brian, is a naked photo of you with a snake. You don't mind, do you?
Yeah, not at all. I'll get right on that.
But
prepare to be wowed.
But I mean, what it made me feel by watching that documentary is you feel like, wow, and he's such a nice bloke, and he never had kids, but he was like a dad to everybody and supported everybody. And well, I say he's still around, but it's just wow, it is well worth seeing. You've got to see it. So yeah, there you go.
Right on. Well, there's speaking of Alice Cooper, I think it's $1 Million Babies. Pretty sure it is. If it's not, then I'm trying to think which album it is. Anyways, point being is the old album, the original album. On the front cover, Alice Fingers got his finger sticking through a zipper in his pants. So obviously it looks like, but it isn't. And now if you buy the CD or whatever, it's airbrushed out.
Ah,
yeah.
Right, really?
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Which is...
I was just going to say, have we got time for another one?
Yes, we do.
Right, should we do it? And then, because I was going to add something else, but I'd rather hear the song, and then
Sure.
I'll tell you after.
Well, this is the newest Grass Cutter song, and when Dave sent an email and said, you know what, this is Tom singing, not Dave, and they decided they're going to keep it the way it is because it's a good tune, and I agree. So here we go with the Grass Cutter and Mr. G, or G, sorry. Grass Cutter with Mr. G. I really like this tune. Yeah, I gave you comments on it earlier, but yeah, just like hard driving guitar, like, really kind of, really kind of gets you up and moving, like dancing if you want, and just because it's just so energetic, like so high energy.
Yeah, brilliant. I mean, I can imagine Dave. He says he's going to dance to that in the background. I love that. I love that idea, but I was just going to say, I love it. Very rocky, very thrashy. I mean, I love Dave's vocals, so obviously I did miss him, but I do love Tom's as well. And I think, that combination, because they've got a live gig, their first one coming up, and it's raising money, isn't it, as well, for charity. But if they're going to do a combination of their tracks, I mean, they're going to blow people away. I mean, it's just so great because it's so different, isn't it, to Angel's Truth and the other stuff they've done. So I on to a winner.
Yeah,
it's fantastic.
And then it's the Unite Nepal gig, and it's Monday.
That's right.
It's Monday at the Biscuit Factory.
Yeah. So I wish them all the luck. I wish I could be there because I'm desperate. I must get myself up north because there's a few bands I'm missing out on at the moment. So I'm hoping I can combine a few and get to see them live because that would be really cracking.
Yeah,
right?
No kidding. That would be a lot of fun. I would love to see that show too.
Yeah.
So maybe they can get some video footage.
Yeah.
Or at least audio.
Have you got a little bit of time just for me to tell this quick story?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, right, okay. The other thing Shep Gordon did with Alice Cooper is he put this live chicken on the stage. Okay. And Alice Cooper didn't know it was coming, and he just went, "Bird, look, it's going to fly," and threw it into the audience, thinking it's got wings. It's a chicken, but it's got wings. So of course it plummeted, and the crowd just literally, well, it isn't nice if you're not, animal cruelty and all that. But basically, they threw it back at him, and the headline was Alice Cooper bites head off chicken. It's like that, but. It's all about, that's why Shep Gordon did it. It was the promotion, and it got him looking, the way he wanted and got him famous, didn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah.
So, just one more thing here. When I said Mr. Guy, that's partially the French side of me. So even though it's not spelled, it's spelled G-U-I or G-O-Y, and people say Guy instead of Guy, but that's what...
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's hard when you think in different languages, though, isn't it? It must be because you speak French in your job, don't you?
Not all the time. Sometimes, not as much. Not as much as you'd think. Because there are a certain amount of French people come through, but it's not all the time. I mean, a lot of the crews are French because they're from Montreal, and but some passengers are. But most passengers, even if they are French, you start speaking French to them. Though it's like an extended courtesy. You speak to them in French, but they'll respond to you in English.
Oh right. Oh okay.
So it's like an unspoken courtesy.
Yeah. To at least attempt it, and
most of them can, because most of them are business people, so they got to be fluent.
Yeah, of course.
So, but either way, like I said, it's more or less a courtesy. I speak to you in French, and they answer in English. Works for me.
How do you find that speaking two languages? I mean, does your brain sort of switch into a different mode, or how does it work?
Oh, pretty much. I mean, I've been doing it for so many years. I grew up with it, right? I was born and raised in Montreal, so I was around French on a constant basis, whether it be friends, school, or what have you. So it's second nature. I don't even really think about it. I mean, there's some words I forget because I don't use them all the time, but other than that, I still can get my point across.
Yeah. No, I'd love to. I mean, I can speak Pidgin French, but that's, I'd love to be able to speak fluent. Yeah. It's a shame we don't, in the UK, sort of push languages a bit more, really. But I think it helps if you can learn it at a young age, doesn't it?
It sinks in a lot more, right? Yeah. They learn a lot quicker. But, I mean, the French in Quebec is, well, they call it franglais just because it's a mix of French and English, and so there's a lot of slang. But between that and actual Parisian French, it's not too different. You're pretty much just cleaning your slang up. So you're being more proper about what you're saying instead of using the shortcut, quote unquote. Yeah. So instead of just asking if you want popcorn, you're not just gonna go, can I get some like maïs? You're gonna say like maïs éclaté, so it means popcorn. So that sort of thing. Well,
French is very much I take, isn't it? I will have sort of the way. Yeah. The way
je voudrais. I want. So.
Yeah, as opposed to if we said that, it would be implied, wouldn't it? But that's how their sort of language works.
Right.
Yeah.
No.
But,
all right. Can I please?
So what have you got coming up this weekend then? So you've got new music Saturday.
So far, that's pretty much it. I mean, I'll be.
That's big.
I'll be.
Making 4 episodes now, aren't you?
Yeah. It's been going along. It's really cool doing the interview at the beginning, so I'm really enjoying that. A little bit more prep for it, but it's fun. It's worth it.
Well, it makes a whole evening of it, then, doesn't it? I mean, I just wish I could stay up. I'll try.
Oh, I know it's late. I told Dave from Gresco that one of these days that I'll go a little bit earlier to try to accommodate most people.
Yeah, well, mind you, he's always up. I mean, it is quite funny when he's